Hey, what's up, y'all? You are listening to the Success Playbook podcast. Y'all, it is very rare that I can say, like, I have a friend on here, right? So, usually we have, of course, sport professionals, people who are movers and shakers in the industry. Today, I not only have a mover and a shaker, but this is my girl. Her name is Jasmine James, and she is the chief of staff for the Houston Dynamo and the Houston Dash. Jasmine, what's up?
What's going on? I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The braids are braiding. They look good.
Thank you, girl. This Houston heat is no one can prepare you. No one can prepare you.
I love it. Well, you're definitely glowing. It's
Thank you.
given it's the Houston heat, Houston humidity is doing something great to your skin.
And we're gonna talk about your regimen
Oh,
because this is about flossing, just glass.
oh
We'll
it's
talk
the
about
lighting. Thank you, sis.
it.
All right. Well, I'm so excited to have you here. We're gonna open up the show with a little game of this or that. Okay. So for some of my new listeners out there, this or that is a game that allows us to get to know the professional a little bit better. I'm going to present Jasmine with two options. She's going to have to choose and she's going to explain her answer. Jasmine, are you up for the challenge?
I'm ready.
Listen, I love it. The confidence. All right. Podcasts or books?
Books. I feel that I can reading a book, it takes me out of my space. Every day I end the day with a book just because the day can be so chaotic and constantly you're giving, you're giving, you're giving. I love a great nonfiction book where I can just dive into a character and just let my imagination just take away. Like, I love me a good book. I read a book
Oh,
every night
wow.
before I go to bed. Yes, books
Every night.
every night.
Wow. I aspire to be like you. What are you reading right now?
Right now, I just finished a book called Allegedly. Man, by Tiffany. I forget her last name. I'm gonna shoot it to you, but it just Black authors. I support all Black authors, Black stories. It was a little bit of a thriller, but yes, I need to.
Oh.
I had to find a way to disconnect because I find myself, because of work, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, where you have dreams about
Mhm.
your job, like, did I send that email? Did I leave
Listen,
that meeting? Did I? And I couldn't do, like, being up at
yes.
2 o'clock in the morning thinking about work. They don't pay
Yeah,
me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I need
yeah.
to sleep because they can't get the best of me if I'm constantly on edge. So I had to find a way to disconnect, and reading has done that for me.
That is so real, Jasmine. Like, I've had countless nightmares where I thought I missed a meeting.
Yes. Did I send
So
that
it's just
email?
me.
Yes,
Yes.
no, no.
Wow.
This place will do that to you. So to find that self care outside of work, if it's working out,
Yeah,
reading, your girlfriend's a pot, whatever the case may be, find it, because that mental game that this play
yeah.
that it can play on you, it's real. It is real.
That is so real. So, like, as a child, what was your first novel you ever read? Child or teenager?
Child or teenager. You know what? I'm not proud of it, but like the first like book that I can like really think of that I read from cover to cover was Sister Soldier's The Coldest Winter Ever.
I knew it. I knew it was gonna be one of. Listen, I in the back of my head, I was like, she either gonna say "Coldest Winter Ever," "Fly Girl," or "True to the Game." It
Yeah,
was one of those
no,
three.
Coldest Winter Ever. For the kids, don't read it. But but it was the first book I can really remember reading from front to back. But unfortunately, as a kid, I wasn't much of a reader. I loved to go outside. I played sports. It wasn't until college, or really afterward, that I really started reading and really getting into it.
Love that. Okay, we're getting to know you already. Okay, hot cereal or cold cereal?
Hot cereal, like oatmeal.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
oatmeal, porridge, grits.
Okay. That's fair. Oatmeal. I'll do. It depends, because Frosted Flakes will get me every time.
Right?
Yeah. It depends. It depends on the
Okay,
day.
it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Okay, versatile. I like that. All right. What's your go-to meal to make?
Go to meal to make. I will say my husband loves when I make this pasta joint for him, where it has dried tomatoes, spinach, with a little Parmesan cream cheese with it. And yes, and the little pasta
Okay.
peanut noodles. I don't know what we call it, but he loves it. That's my go-to.
I love that. Did you just pull that recipe together off the fly?
I just Pinterest, you can't do nothing.
Okay. Okay. Who cooks more? Is it you or your husband?
He does.
Really?
Yes, I got really lucky on that. He loves to
I love
cook,
it.
so when I come home, there's usually something hot on the stove. My granddad, what
OMG.
you cooking your husband? I don't know, Gran. You gotta ask him what he cooking me.
Ah,
Yes. I
that's
got lucky.
amazing.
I got lucky.
Wow, Laura. I see what you did for Jasmine. Do it for me. All right, that's awesome. All right, thank you for playing our game.
Yes.
Well, let's dig right on into these questions. Let's talk about your childhood. Who is Jasmine? Where are you from? What did you like to do? I heard you played sports. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, grew up, born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. As a child, I feel like a lot of our generation, we stayed outside.
We did.
Our parents didn't even let us in the house. Like
Yeah.
we just stayed outside until the street lights came on and playing with all the neighborhood kids, all the sports, all the things, whether if we were good at it or not. We were just outside playing, having fun. Um, have always been into sports. Sports has been one of my motivators. Where my parents, like, they knew, you if you don't clean your room, you can't go to practice. If you don't do your homework, you can't do XYZ. So that was my continuous motivator. And I think it was really just the teamwork and the friends that I made, the friends that I still have to this day, because we've been through things, ups and downs, and we grew together on and off the field. So sports has definitely been a huge part of my life. So when after college, not even knowing what it is that I wanted to do, but knowing I still wanted to be a part of a team,
Mhm.
sports was the only option, because I'm not be in between the lines, but to still be a part of a team, all fighting for that ring, regardless of what that win looks like. If it's ticket sales win, if it's revenue, it's marketing,
Yes.
whatever the case is, just needing to be a part of a team. So
Yes.
that's always been, again, my driver.
Love it. Okay. So you grew up in Ohio, Columbus,
Hmm.
Ohio. Are you an Ohio State fan?
Only when we play Michigan.
Okay.
And that's only when it counts, right? Any other
That is the
times,
only one.
yeah,
Okay.
that's only when
Where'd
it
you go
counts.
to college? Where'd you go
I
to
went
school?
to Kentucky State University, which is at HBCU in
Whoop,
Frankfort,
whoop.
Kentucky. Yes.
Awesome. What was your major?
I majored in kinesiology. I wanted to be an athletic trainer. It wasn't until probably like my senior year last semester I had an epiphany. Like, I do not want to work with crybaby athletes for the rest of my life. And which is hard too, right? Because they send 18-year-olds off to college and expecting to know what
Yeah.
it is that they want to do for the rest of their lives. Some people got it,
Yes.
most don't. So it's just to try to figure that out, especially the last semester. That was a hard pill for my parents to swallow. Like, so you've done all of this and you tell me you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So you talked about how you always knew you wanted to be a part of a team. So it sounds like you've always had this affinity for sports.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
absolutely. Again, it's been my big driver, and it's
Yeah.
been something that me and my brother, who's my best friend, what we've always connected to. Like, who's doing the dishes? Let's go outside and play basketball for it. Then he got bigger than me, and then it was just, you're still doing the dishes because I'm your older sister. Um, but yes, like, I played softball in college as well, so
Mhm.
being a part of that team, and again, the women who I've grown to love so much and still keep in touch with. I wouldn't have had that without being a part of a team. So after college, I had an opportunity to get my master's in the United Kingdom. Fun fact, to get your, just like how there's a lot of international programs for students to come to America to go to school, there's programs for us to go over there. And to get your master's in the UK, it's only for a year and it's free for most Americans. So I packed up a bag and
Free.
free.
Hold up, because I knew about the masters overseas. You didn't tell me the free part.
It's free. It was free. It was free. It was free. It was free.
What?
So if y'all have any questions, hit me up. I will give you all the ticks and trips. It is free. But yeah, no, going over there and studying for a year, and that was the first time I actually got to work with a professional team. I worked for a professional rugby team. Um, I literally emailed every single person on that email website, just like asking for an internship, asking for like just anything, and no one got back to me. And one day they had a game day, like just game day staff, like if you wanted to work the games. I went in with my whole suit, and everybody was in there with t-shirts, shorts on, jeans. And at the very end, they said, does anybody have any questions? I stood up in front of 200 plus people and said, I will wash your car. I will walk your dog. I just need an internship. I just need a chance. And they ended up creating an internship for me. So that was my
Love
first
it.
real experience and understanding. That was my first time really advocating for yourself because no one else is going to do it for you.
How did you muster up the guts in front of 200 people to ask for an internship and advocate for yourself?
My heart was bumping out of my chest the whole entire time, but it was either now or never because at the end, like I knew that I wouldn't get the attention of the people. No one was raising it. I just something came over me. It was something just came over me. I just stood up and I just said it, and people laughed and they chanted, "Give her an internship." And the
Oh my,
VP,
this was a
yes,
moment.
it was. And the VP of marketing came up like afterwards. She laughed. She's like, let's go grab some tea. And I gave her my background and my story. And they ended up creating a position for me. They used my American accent to talk to like partnerships and people. They're like, say you're from California. Nobody knows what Ohio is. Like, that's fine. But I had so much fun. So much fun.
Oh, that's so dope. I love that story.
Yeah.
Okay. And who are your favorite professional teams?
Ooh. Uh, Being from Ohio, you know, the Browns has always been a one-way street, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not lot of love have been reciprocated back to us.
Yes.
But as far as teams, I will say the Browns. And I'll say more so players.
Okay.
LeBron, like anywhere he goes,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. Steph Curry as well. Asia Wilson, Candace Parker. Um,
Is she from Ohio?
Candace Parker, she's originally from Chicago.
Okay.
Asia Wilson's from South Carolina, but
Okay. But you
WNBA,
just rock with them,
yeah,
yeah.
I just rock with them.
Okay. Okay, lit. Any football teams, NBA team? Well, you said NBA. Any football teams?
Football teams, I'll rock with the Browns, but I will say the
Oh,
Carolina
I'm
Panthers.
sorry.
No,
We talked about, well, do they count?
you
Just
do
kidding.
they count? No, look, I will say the Carolina Panthers because they
Okay,
have.
that's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, I'll say the Carolina Panthers because they
Okay.
invested in me. They invested in me and they invested in
Yes.
my career. So they will always have a special place in my heart.
Okay, I was trying to pull the Panthers out.
Okay.
With respect to the Browns, shout out to the Browns, but you know. Speaking of the Panthers, I would love to dig into your background in sport. You are hashtag that girl. You've worked for several teams, and I just want the world to know who you are. So with that said, this segment of the show is called Put Some Respect on My Name.
Yes. Okay. That's fun.
So I want you to walk us through some of your career journey and your career highlights. You told us about the amazing internship story. What was after that? And then give us like some of the big highlights. Because honestly, your whole journey is a highlight. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's different.
Your
No,
whole journey is a highlight.
I've been blessed in a lot of ways. So after I turned in my dissertation, my then boyfriend at the time, now husband, I told him I want to go backpacking across Southeast Asia. We were broke. We were broke, but he quit his job. He sold his car. He came out to me. We backpacked across Southeast Asia for 6 months. We taught English, worked on rice farms just to make ends meet. But we had such a beautiful experience. Then my dad told me to come home and pay my cell phone bill because I'm not living real life. And from there, I had my opportunity with
Wait, your dad, say that again.
he told me to come home and pay my cell phone bill. He's like, this is not a real life you're living. Come
That
home.
is such a dad answer. Okay.
Yeah, like you were that little boy. Come on back here and pay your cell phone bill. And while my mom is just like, let her go, let her be free. Um, But I came back searching for a job, not knowing how to navigate the sports industry. I just know I want to be in the sports industry. And also assuming just because I have a master's that would give me a leg up. But if you don't have the experience, it actually means nothing. And that's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate because we live in a society where they're telling you constantly that you need to get your bachelor's degree, you need to get your master's degree in order to do XYZ. And not to say that they can't benefit you in other
Yeah.
spaces and other industries. However, from my personal experience, it didn't benefit me, at least just trying to get my name or step into the game. Um, but I ended up starting with the St. Louis Cardinals. I got my first break. I started in their inside sales program. And I never thought I would be in baseball. I never thought I would be in St. Louis. But it was an opportunity, and they took a shot on me and went in, loved it, loved the sales. I never knew that I actually enjoyed sales. Picking up the phone is very intimidating,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to sell a product and hearing no and people hanging up on you, and you constantly just have to work thick skin. But I have that competitive edge where I'm seeing my colleagues, especially the males, like they're on the board, like they're making sales that like I can do that too. Watch me on the phone. I can do that. It's just that you just have to have that competitive
Yeah.
edge when you're in sales. And that's what just naturally came out. It was never money driven. It was just competitive, which I don't know if that's healthy or not, but
No, I get it. I get it because that was always my thing. My thing was I got to be the best.
yes,
I just got to be the best.
you tell
That's
me I
it.
can't, let me show you how I will.
Exactly.
And that's what all sales and how it just drove me. Then, so moving forward, I had applied for a couple of roles, and I had applied for a season ticket role. I was really excited about it. I thought I wanted to be in season tickets. And unfortunately, I didn't get the role. But then a few days later, I got a call from our group sales manager at the time, Justin Myers, and he called me. I was on my way out of town on vacation, and he literally told me, like, hey, we're creating this new role on group sales. I think you'll be perfect for it. What are your Absolutely. Sign me up. I have
Love it.
no idea what group sales is. Sign me up. But then I realized I love group sales. Group sales is getting people into the door who wouldn't care to or couldn't afford to otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
creating initiatives, creating programs, working with all these different departments. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I got to create some programs that still to this day that are still being ran with the Cardinals. And also, to the Cardinals is where I met my long-term mentor, Ann Sini, who's now the chief people officer for the U.S. Soccer Federation. And because of her, she really helped me navigate a space that I was not used to, a lot of white spaces. I come from an inner
Mm-hmm.
city space in Columbus. I went to inner city schools. I went to an HBCU. We didn't drink beer. We didn't. Conversations that they were having were not conversations that I ever wanted to have. Like,
Listen,
it's
the
so.
first time I heard the word IPA was in a sales pitch with my sales teammates. IPA, what's that? Oh.
Yes, my struggles are not the same, but she helped me navigate those things, thankfully. And then always in my mind, I wanted to be an athletic director. I wanted to get back to collegiate sports and give back to what was given to me. So an opportunity had actually presented itself with Baylor University to create their group sales program, also a brand new position. And I went there, and it was probably day two. I realized collegiate sports is not for me.
Okay.
Neither was Waco, Texas, and there was it. Just collegiate sports is just a different ball game,
Okay.
different politics. However, I did go there, and I got to build out a program, and also building out different initiatives for students to come to different games that they are also still using to this day. But knowing that I wanted to get back into, like, collegiate wasn't for me. I wanted to get back into professional sports. I kept applying for jobs, and I kept getting interviews, but I was not closing anything. And I could
Mm.
not understand why. I'm applying for these manager, directors, whatever roles, and I just was not landing anything. And then I had to take a step back. Like, is this God telling me I'm not ready? Is this God saying,
Mm.
like, what is happening? Because I'm not necessarily happy here. I don't want to be here. How do I move on? And then I seen a posting one day on LinkedIn and for a role, and I immediately applied. And I figured out who the reporting director report would be, and I found her, Jessica O'Neill.
Yes, Jessica O'Neill.
Yes, Jessica O'Neill, who's now my boss again, but we'll get back to that. But
Yes.
and I shot her a note like, hey, I just applied for your role. Like, here's my resume. I would love to chat and have a conversation. She set up an interview for me the next day. And was for an account executive position. And
okay.
yes.
So this is another opportunity where you just shot your shot. This
Correct.
time in the DMs.
In the DMs of the LinkedIn.
In the DMs of the LinkedIn. Y'all be sleep on LinkedIn.
They do. They do.
The people be sleep. Wake them up, Jazz.
But I understand too, because sometimes not everybody always responds to LinkedIn, which is very intimidating and also upsetting too, because people just want opportunity. If you can hold up a door for somebody, why not?
Absolutely.
But, yes, I shot my shot, advocated for myself, and just went after it. And we set up a call the next day. And she told me that this role is essentially they're wanting someone who can really own their group sales program, because they haven't had one before. They didn't need one because they were riding this Cam Newton wave.
So now we're talking about the Panthers.
Now we're talking about the Panthers.
Okay.
And when she said that, I'm like, that is perfect. Group sales is that is my baby. Let me come in and show you how you guys are leaving money on the table. And knowing that, yes, I took a step back title wise and base wise, but I knew that there was an opportunity for me to grow from that. And got to the Panthers and was doing good at the role, at selling whatever I needed.
Crushed it. You weren't just doing good; you crushed it. Let's be clear.
But but also too, like, started to carve out and build out this group sales program as an AE, and still showing them how we're leaving money on the table, building out fundraising programs and events. And then during that time, towards the end, like, okay, Jazz, like, we're going to give you a shot. Let's really, build out this group sales program and see where it goes. Then COVID came. Right. Like everything else great in the world. But during that time, a lot of things was happening, not just COVID, but also the murder of George Floyd. Yeah. And that took us is nothing that we don't already know. That was hard. That was hard on this country. That was hard on Black America.
Jazz. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah.
No, go ahead.
It was just so hard for Black professionals everywhere, and I'll say especially at sports teams. And I don't know, you just had to. It's already the grind of working in sport, right? Already the grind of like constant phone calls, constant meetings, and then on top of that, like you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, which is what happened, like with the George Floyd murder, public murder.
And then people to your white counterparts not understanding.
They didn't understand.
And like they're going through their day to day as if it's just a regular day. It's not.
Yep.
And I remember that weekend, that Sunday, again, Jess O'Neill reached out to me, and she just texted like, I know you're not okay, and I don't expect you to reply, but just know that I'm here. And that did so much, right? Like,
yes, I got chills. That means a lot.
Just to recognize that. And at the time, my Essa Gadoza, if you don't know, you should know.
That girl,
you should know.
She's that girl.
She had created the Black employee network at the NFL. And then she came to the Carolina Panthers and was part of our legal team, our legal counsel there. And she created Stride, which was the first Black ERG in the NFL. Essay during that time, before George Floyd, a little bit beforehand, she ended up leaving us to be the president of House of Athletes. But when she had left, like, I'm still leaning into her for all the things. Like, she has left, she had created this this pedestal, this place for us to, this platform for our Black employees to really show who we are, be able to thrive, to speak up and show our voices. And she created this safe space for us. And I felt like it was my responsibility to step into it, because if it wasn't, it would have been without her. But my first initiative, I'm like nervous because I'm seeing, as an organization, we're putting out all these statements, we're doing these things. It all sounds good, but we have not said anything internally. How can we have
Okay.
not said anything internally, but we're saying all the things that we needed to say externally? So I get onto my little Stride email and started typing out all staff email like, hey, this is going to be a very hard, uncomfortable, difficult conversation, but it's something that needs to be said. I hope you all can meet me here that 6 o'clock on Thursday, and here's the Teams link. I'll see you there. And my husband's in the kitchen cooking. He's like, girl, I ain't never met somebody who wanted to get fired so bad. Just quit. Do not send that email. I'm like, no, I'm gonna send it. It's gonna be good. And then I sent it. And then 30 minutes later, I get a Teams message from our general counsel, Steve Ardress, who I've never like spoken to prior before. I'm like, oh, I'm about to get fired. There was levels and I missed all the levels. This is it. And
Wait, so this was not an email to Stride. This was an all staff email.
This is an all staff email that I used from the Stride. Yeah, I'm like,
Okay. Okay, girl.
I just did it right. But from there, like RGC just calling and just checking in, like, hey, again, I know you're not okay, but like know that I'm here for you, and know that this shouldn't have been you, and that I'm here to support you in any way. And I started getting other calls from leadership with supporting what I was trying to do, but still very nervous. So calling Anne, calling SA, asking how I should navigate this conversation. And it was a lot of me being vulnerable a lot of the time because people were afraid to speak up.
Yes.
People didn't know what to say.
The crazy thing is, while you were calling SA, I too, in Washington, D.C., was calling SA, asking her how I should navigate these conversations.
Yes, because look, she's been doing it.
Yes.
Showing us the way. But yeah, so it was just being very vulnerable, being able to open up myself and my own traumas to be able to help others understand why this affects us so deeply, and how seeing this on TV day in and day out is opening up wounds and traumas for us that we're constantly trying to still heal, but they just keep opening right back up. And that night, I curled up in a ball because I just felt like it was just so intense for me. But from there, starting more DEI efforts, starting helping out with our other ERGs, creating our minority and women in sports fellowships, doing other work, but still now now there's been layoffs, there's been people let go, and now our sales team is down to 5. And I'm a part of this sales team, so still doing this role now, trying to educate an organization about spaces, and growing from there. And then our organization franchise expanded for Charlotte FC, which is the new soccer team. Charlotte FC, yes, one of their soccer franchise. And from there, Nick Kelly, the president of Charlotte FC, had offered me a group sales manager role. And talking to my then manager and him, I got to then oversee both Carolina Panthers and Charlotte FC's group sales program, making me the first Black group sales manager, or the first Black sales manager for the Carolina Panthers. And obviously for Charlotte FC, but doesn't count. They're new. But that was 2 different strategies, 2 different teams, 2 different everything. And me trying to navigate both of those things, which is 2 separate people's jobs, and also navigating this DEI space for the organization. And I managed to do that for over a year, but then I had enough. I couldn't, at this point, I couldn't do it anymore. It was a lot. It was weighing in on me, like mentally, physically. And I went to put in my 2 weeks. I'm like, where are you going? I'm going home. I'm gonna watch
Mm.
Netflix because I've done everything that I could. And then opportunity had presented itself for me to be the director of diversity, equity, inclusion, which where my heart lied,
Yeah.
um, is to be able to open up those doors and create belonging for everyone within the organization. And from there, be able to really dive into building programs and having hard conversations and continuing that work. Um, and then after all that, like probably a year to step back, a year prior, Jess had left to be the president of the Houston Dash, which is a women's NWSL team. And then she was then promoted to be chief operating officer for the Houston Dynamo, which is the MLS team. And I received a call from her one night and saying that, hey, come to Houston. What are you
She said, pull up.
what you talking about, Jess? And we talked about it, and she offered me an opportunity to be their chief of staff to come in and really fill in those gaps, understand where the processes are and where the gaps are within the organization, really own in on the business strategy, create a culture where everybody can come in and feel like they belong and they can grow
Mm.
professionally, mentally, all the things. So it's a challenge on a day to day, but super excited to be here. But from that story, every role that I've been in have all been created. No one's ever been in the shoes that I was in before me, so I had to figure everything out.
Yeah.
And it was hard. No one was showing me, but still
Right.
trying to figure it out. But here we are, figuring it out together.
I love it. And that's why I said you're that girl. If I can find the hand claps on this thing, I think this is it. We'll see in the audio. Okay. But I'm going to just clap it up for you because listen, your whole journey is such a highlight. And we're just, it's so funny how we're so aligned, like how we both connected off of group sales, like our love and passion for group sales. And then, we went into this DEI space off the basis of the ERGs that we were a part of and founded and stuff. So, yes, girl, you're crushing it.
But let's not get things twisted too, though. I was following in your footsteps because even when I was like, SA connected me with you for the group sales. I think the music is playing. Can
Is
you hear it? Yeah, there you go.
it?
Um, SA connected me with you when I was trying to figure out, like certain things, initiatives, and she was like, always like, look into a network. Do you have
Yeah.
what's your network here? I don't have a network. SA. We got to start building out your networks. Chanel Reynolds, I'm gonna hook you up with. She's the director of group sales at the Washington. Like, here, this is what you and you had that call with me, and you were the first person because I didn't know about the NFL league calls that there were, and
Oh,
you helped
yep.
me, yeah, and you helped me navigate those some spaces and understanding best practices. And then you were also the very first call that I made when I got the DEI role. Like, so how's this work again? Like, so you are also very much
Oh, thank you.
creating waves and like myself looking for your advice. So no, I appreciate you too because you're
Thank
one of
you.
the many women in this, not many because there's not many of us, but one of the women, black women in this sports industry that I do look up to. And I'm watching from a distance and making sure, like, hell, your wins are my win. And every time I see a new post, a new award, a new look what we just did. Look at us.
Thanks.
Let me love this.
Thanks. Yeah, it's mutual, Jasmine. Like especially when you posted about this new position that you're in, chief of staff. Like, wow, seriously, wow. And I am just so proud of you and everything that you've accomplished, and I'm looking forward to everything you're about to accomplish.
Thank
So,
you.
of
Thank you.
course. Okay, so you told us that you got the role by way of your first boss
Mm-hmm.
at the Panthers. Okay.
Yeah.
She called you and said, pull up to Houston. You thought about it a little, then you came.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about how your previous roles, let's say in group sales or even in DEI, how that kind of helps you in your role as chief of staff.
Yeah, no, so I would definitely say with DEI, being able to I lived in the HR space, and understanding how that works was very pivotal, because now as HR reports directly into me, so being able to understand do's and don'ts, how we should operate, who, and also understanding too, just being in the sales and like being on the other side outside of HR and understanding what it is that the employees feel, because it's all
Yes.
about feelings,
Yes.
feel that they should be receiving from an organization, and understanding where those gaps lie, and knowing how, seeing others organizations, how I wish things would have been done differently, because really at the end of the day, people just want to feel heard,
Mm-hmm.
and not only just feel heard, but they want to see results. People want to see action behind it, and knowing that we're not just talking. So I'm very big on, if we send out a survey, do not send out a survey unless we're ready to act on whatever comes from that survey.
Mm-hmm.
And if we ask for feedback, we have to be ready to receive it and be ready to act on it, because as soon as you stop acting on the things that people are saying, then they'll stop telling you, and you can't help make change. I will say will always revenue will always be the
Say it
vocal
again for the people in the back, because I
revenue.
don't think everyone understands that.
No, people do not understand. Revenue will take you all the way. If presidents, CEOs, if you don't understand the bottom line,
Mm-hmm.
it won't matter. If you,
Mm-hmm.
it's a business at the end of the day, and it always comes back to the dollar. No matter what seat you're sitting in, everyone's selling something. If we're selling DEI to sponsorship, and like if people, it doesn't. You're always selling something, and if you can't relate to people, or people don't feel like they can relate to you, then you've lost them. So,
Yeah.
but it does in business all come back down to revenue. Even in the seat that I'm sitting in, it's still back down to revenue.
Yes. And so, Jasmine, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Um, my younger self, I would say, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's all gonna work out. I think we just put so much pressure on ourselves, and like
That's
needing
so
everything.
true.
It is. We put so much pressure on ourselves, wanting to, you know, I'm not say be perfect, but like wanting to figure it out, like
Mm-hmm.
trying so hard to, make your parents proud, make your siblings, your family, or whatever the case is, like being afraid to ask for help, or showing
Mm-hmm.
people, like being that strong friend, where, sometimes as that strong friend, people don't always check in on you because they think you got it because you're so busy
Mm-hmm.
holding their shit. So it's just breathe. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's all going to work itself out. And only control the controllables. That's all you can do. That is all you can do.
Control the controllables,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be okay.
It's going to be okay. And get a
Okay.
counselor sooner. Get a therapist, girl.
Counselor.
Like, just get you a therapist. You shouldn't have waited as long as you did. Work that out. You'll be all right.
I love that. Okay. So, Jasmine, like, what's next for you? So, you're in this chief of staff role. Like, what can you see yourself doing?
That is a great question.
Okay.
I don't know. I think right now I'm still trying to, there's so much for me to learn and grow right
Mhm.
now in the seat that I'm in. I'm just taking it in, and I'm enjoying this ride. Um, and then also too is like, how far do you want to go? Like,
Mhm.
the heat at the top is real.
Oh,
Um,
facts.
do I want that? But also, do I not want that? It
Right.
just, I don't know. Get back to me. Ask me in 2 years, and we'll see.
I love it. And how can we keep up with you?
Keep up with me on LinkedIn. Keep up with me.
LinkedIn.
Email me. Hey, jjames@houstondynamo.com. Don't be shy. If you
Okay.
message me on LinkedIn, I will respond. I might be a little bit late, but know that I'm always going to get to you. Do not
Facts.
hesitate.
I love it. Well, y'all, this is my play cousin. So, Jasmine, it was such a pleasure having my cousin on this podcast. Thank you again for everything that you do. You're amazing. And your cousin here on the East Coast is always rooting for you.
I appreciate you. No, thank you so much for having me.
Of
I'm
course.
so happy to be here. And again, if you need anything, I am here for you.
Awesome. Love you, girl.
Love you too.